What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Bronx Pinstripe Show for the fourth episode in a row. We're saying the Yankees just won a series, 2 out of 3, still 108 win pace. Have the Rays won again? Is it deja vu all over again? Are the Rays still on did they play today? What are the
I don't know
Rays
if they
doing?
played today, but they were 11-0 last time I checked. On the
they're
road
11.
to be 13-0 because the fucking Red Sox suck and they're
I think
gonna
they
beat
played
the shit
tonight.
out of them.
I think they're playing tonight. We're recording this. They play at 6:40. We're recording this right after the game on Wednesday in Cleveland, in which the Yankees came from behind and won. Weird ass game.
Frustrating, then good, then also like, oh my gosh, is he gonna blow it? Then they didn't. So, but they didn't.
Well, yeah,
They held
the
on.
ninth inning, obviously.
Yeah.
But like, just how that game started was one of the most bizarre, confusing situations. Because, like, just quickly set the scene. If anyone listening to this doesn't know what happened in the first inning on Wednesday, there was second and third, as we just learned, second and third with one out, Clark Schmidt on the mound, who had given up already 2 bloops to center field that Aaron Hicks caught one and didn't catch another. And another bloop to center field, Aaron Hicks comes in, looks like he catches it to the naked eye, but it ends up being that he dropped the ball. The ball came out of his glove. However, it was ruled on the field that it was a catch, and then he threw back to second base to get the runner who thought it was an out trying to tag back. That was the end of the inning because the run did not score. Turns out he didn't really catch the ball. But Cleveland, Francona did not challenge this play until after the commercial break or until after he saw on the Jumbotron, like, oh, hey, he actually dropped that. Even though the rule clearly states you got 15 seconds to basically throw the challenge flag, and he didn't do that. And
the guys on Yes were saying that the umpires made that decision and it did not come from Francona, which I didn't know they could do.
So the umpires can now just overturn a call if they see that they were wrong?
I mean, first of all, I don't hate that. I
No,
don't
the
hate
call
that.
was right.
I don't
The
hate
call
that
was
the
right.
umpires want to get a call right if they see something. It's a matter of how they got to it and how and the fact that it was well after. But if the letter of the law says that 15 seconds has to happen and that's part of this pace of play and all the changes and such, that the manager has to throw the flag and challenge the play. I didn't know that the umpires can just be like, oh well, you know, we heard some whispers before. Or we saw the Jumbotron show a thing, right, and then we're like, oh no, let's get this right. Like that's not part of this whole system. I've
never seen that happen. I've never seen that happen before. I've never seen the umpires just overturn a call.
Now, granted, if Aaron Hicks could just catch a goddamn ball, then we wouldn't be having this conversation. There's many conversations that we wouldn't be having.
This is all Aaron Hicks' fault.
If Aaron Hicks would just catch a ball. The first one, catch the ball. Second one, okay, fine. Nice conservative slide to get into it. Caught the ball, thank you. Third one, catch the ball. And as soon as it went down, I was like, And then I saw the replay as they were going to commercial break, and you saw a little bit of white just hit. I'm like, oh my God, it bounced. It bounced after it hit the heel of his glove. And I'm just yelling, squeeze your goddamn glove. Hold the ball.
Well, essentially it was 3 of the exact same play. Not easy plays, but also not really that difficult of plays. Like you're running in on a ball and you're sliding to catch it. Like it's a nice catch, but those are 3 catches that every center fielder in Major League Baseball should be able to make. Even if you haven't been a good center fielder for 5 years, Aaron Hicks, you should still be making that catch. He did make the second one. The first one hit off the heel of his glove. He didn't catch it. And then the third one, it kind of just fell out of his glove and he didn't catch it. I had such a swing of emotions on Aaron Hicks because he's been getting shit on, right?
Yeah, he's deservedly so.
He's the player that everyone is shitting on so far this year. He has gotten the fewest starts out of the outfield because, like, we're going to talk about Franchy Cordero. Don't worry. This is the Franchy Cordero episode. Like, he is somehow amazing. And so Franchy Cordero is getting a ton of playing time that Aaron Hicks probably thought he was going to get. And then there he is on a getaway day in a lineup it was a budget Yankees lineup that they're trotting out there for getaway day. And it's Aaron Hicks in center field. And the first play of the game drops. And I genuinely was like looking at him like, I'm not far away from just feeling bad for this guy because like that's how it's going. That's how bad of a season I feel like he's going to have. And then he made the catch on the next one. I'm like, Aaron Hicks redeemed himself. And then he made what I thought was a double play. It's like he redeemed himself. It's all is good. But no, didn't happen. Clark Schmidt ends up giving up the hit to score the runs. Tough spot for Schmidt in that inning. Like, dude gave up 3 bloops to center field.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we'll talk about Hicks, but I know we're going to go into Schmidt, and I don't want to be cast as a Schmidt apologist at all because he needs to be better. But I thought he was better today. he certainly got zero help. I know the guys pulled some of the pitch selection and what we saw today. So we'll get into that in a little bit. But yeah, man, Hicks has got to make the play. You got to make that play. Here's the thing: when I'm looking at now, what value does he bring this team? He doesn't. He doesn't bring any value. He doesn't bring value on the offensive side. He doesn't bring value on the defensive side. If Esteban Florial, who passed through waivers and now is with the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Rail Riders, is out in the field, that's 3 defensive runs saved, basically, with a defensive outfielder out there. And that's it. Like, he provides zero offense, and we know that. Zero offense, Florial. But you know what he can do? He can catch the ball. He can catch the ball, and he can range, forward and backwards, and some lateral ranging. And Hicks, with a pretty standard center field slide catch, he just can't do it. And he's a liability right now. He's a liability. I don't feel bad for him. That's like the dad in you speaking, I think, because this is not the Andrew I know. But I mean, I get what you're saying from a personal perspective, like from the guy, the man. Okay, fine. But the baseball player, I got nothing for him. He's a bad baseball player.
No, not from the baseball player. I don't want him playing. That's not what I'm saying. We reached this point, I thought, with Joey Gallo last year too, where he was benched basically, and before he even left the dugout, the guy is getting booed, right? Like before he even went up there to strike out, which he would do, right, he would get booed. And at that point, you do have to feel bad on a personal level from someone. I mean, last year, Gallo talking about how he didn't want to leave his apartment because he was so ashamed and shit like that. Like,
yeah, that's sad.
It's sad, right? Like, it's sad. And yeah, maybe it is the dad in me talking.
The world needs ditch diggers too. You know what I'm saying? It's like
I have a little Joey Gallo segment for this episode later on. Don't worry.
Oh, can't wait for that.
Florial did hit 2 homers in his return to Scranton. But
look at that. Were you watching the MILB? Were you watching
the
MILB there?
I heard Didn't Meredith give the update last night that it was like 800 feet of home runs or something?
I didn't hear that.
Okay, great. I smell Florial, quad A player.
Good for him.
A couple of things that guys are putting in chat here because we're recording this right after the game, so Boone and everyone's talking. Boone said he felt the umpires were swayed due to the crowd seeing the replay on the big screen.
Of course they were.
And that the umpires had got together and then made the decision. Terry Francona said he thought that the Yankees challenged the tag up at third base, not scoring, which prolongs the ability to challenge all plays. And then Jack Curry, apparently on postgame, is mentioning that the scoreboard operator posted the play was under review before the umpires made the official call that it was being under review. So is that
the scoreboard operator?
Scoreboard operator, like, chicanery?
I mean, good for him. But that's a great scoreboard operator.
So that obviously gets the crowd going, but can't the umpires be like, no, it's not under review. We did not.
Yes, they absolutely could.
Under review.
Wow, what an assumption. That's a good job on that guy.
Give that scoreboard operator a raise, frankly. Yeah. Is some quick thinking on his feet.
Yeah.
But you're right. To your point, though,
I don't understand how it happened, but yes, I know what you're about to say. They got the call correct.
The call was correct, right? Like, did the Yankees potentially get screwed in that scenario by the letter of the rule book? Yes. But what should have happened in the actual baseball game is that's not an out. So I'm kind of okay from that standpoint. As long as the call is right, I can accept things.
I can live with it as well. The way it went down was bullshit. And the umpires, like, that's a really, really dicey precedent to set. The fact that a scoreboard operator can now affect what the umpires are doing, or, even just, the replay guy who puts it on the big board. If he's really fast and there's a close call and they see something and he's really fast so that the umpires can see it, and now they're changing their mind. Well, it's already been done now, and it's going to be, held up. I don't know if MLB's got to have a statement about this.
Well, this opens up Pandora's box, right?
Yeah.
Because if the umpires can literally just watch the replay on the big board and say, oh, I got that one wrong, overturned, then what are we doing challenges for?
So there have been so many changes. I feel like we need like a refresher on all of the things and what's allowed. Is there nobody at MLB, or maybe is this just the NFL?
No, yeah.
There's someone at MLB who can hit a buzzer and say like, hey, that call was wrong. Is that still a thing? Or no? Was that a playoff thing?
I don't know about that. I know the replay is happening at the MLB headquarters, I believe, in Manhattan, where
So
someone is
and I know
watching
in
the
the
replay.
NFL that's happening where they can buzz someone and be like, hey, hang on, we're taking a look at this under X amount of
To
time.
me, that would be better because you could do that so quickly, right?
Right.
No matter what thing, obviously you're not going to do this for balls and strikes, but like any actual play, guys trying to steal second base and the umpire calls them out, and then someone's watching. There's a game operator watching. Oh,
Yep.
no, he was safe. Buzz, he was safe. Boom. That takes 10 seconds. We're done.
Right.
And the call's right.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that would actually be the best way to go. It makes a lot of sense. We
Screw
have the
these
technology to do
challenges,
it.
like these stupid, like, oh, do I challenge this? Do I not challenge this? Do I have to save my challenge for the late innings? It's like,
Yeah.
it's so
my hand was up, but
So
I was scratching my ass. And then, there's just so much gray area. If they took it out of the hands of the people and just got the call right, then yeah. Okay. Yes. You have to employ a few more people at MLB to make sure that they're watching all of these plays.
I don't even think so, because every single umpiring crew has a umpire in the, like, basically in the bullpen, not literally in the bullpen,
right,
on reserve in case an umpire. Right, exactly. But like, so couldn't that umpire do it?
Sure. I mean, whatever the process is, I don't give a shit. Just implement something that makes sense. This is the common sense department. This is the common sense department where, just get the call right. Isn't that the whole point of review in the first place? Get the call right. Why does someone, if someone's a little delayed, or they have, because they're looking at something, or just get it right. And if we have the people to do that, if you have, an excess, a reserve umpire or whomever, like, it doesn't even need to be that. It can be someone in New York in a MLB office in the Batcave.
Yeah, but then you literally probably do need 15 employees doing that, because you can't have somebody doing multiple games.
Fine. Put the employees there then. Good. We're creating jobs now too. Common sense. Okay.
Well, I guess not all 15 games are happening at the same time, so somebody could.
We're stimulating the economy.
Work a doubleheader.
This is good work that we're doing. This is good work.
What is this? What are we talking about? Is this an hourly job, or is this a salaried position?
Oh, if we're talking here, if this is gospel, it's a salary. I'm giving people livelihood. Yeah.
You don't want someone making, $16 an hour just messing around with, like,
you don't know who. Yeah. Then you need someone with that's dedicated to this. This is an important job. Speaking of the umpire, though, my God, did he get drilled in the face?
He took one. That's just why, like, it's just such a weird game, because that's how the Yankees, scored their runs, is on a relay throw, just taking one to the dome. Well,
they had no chance at the plate. I mean, he was going to be safe, whether that ball was through or not. But still, it's just
a weird ricochet, runner's advance. Yeah, on Higgy's ball to center field.
It was. Yeah, I'm surprised that doesn't happen more often, to be honest. But man, did he get tattooed in the temple? It looked like it was bad.
Yeah, it's I would say umpires getting drilled is definitely more rare than, like, referees in NFL getting run into and stuff like that.
Yeah, even that you don't see it as much. But yeah, Ilya saying that it was held at third base. Run wouldn't have scored if the ball didn't ricochet. Okay.
Yeah, the second run, right? The second run wouldn't have scored.
Yeah.
Yeah. So who knows what happens, as the inning continues. But and Oswaldo, which John Sterling apparently called him Orlando Cabrera on the radio broadcast. Orlando Cabrera did play for the then Cleveland Indians. He played for a bunch of teams. I thought he played with the Indians more. He only played, I think, like one season there.
He was with the Padres.
Confused a little bit, but Oswaldo Cabrera comes through with the clutch hit.
A lot of yes guys calling the Guardians the Indians as well. A lot of that happening over the series.
That's still happening. This is the third season.
It happened in the booth,
right?
Like 3 times. And then Kay did it, I think, yesterday.
Aren't we on the third season of the Guardians at this point? Like,
we are.
Let's all get it on the same page now. Yeah. But we spent last episode talking about Clark Schmidt and how he's just hittable, how his pitches, his cutter has been really hittable. So we took a look at his pitch mix today, because he did look a little bit better.
Yeah.
And it's tough to hold that first inning against him, honestly.
Right.
He had previously been utilizing the basically cutter more, and today he didn't. He threw 23 knuckle curveballs. He threw 16 sweepers, which is
it's a slider, guys. It's a slider.
He threw 15 sinkers, 14 cutters, 3 changeups, and 1 single lone 4-seam fastball in his 72 pitches. So definitely a spike up in his knuckle curve, which we mentioned last time. Knuckle curve, that's been your best pitch throughout your minor league career.
Yeah.
Utilize the damn thing more. And I thought he was better today. I mean, he wasn't great, but he was better.
I thought his control was better. There was that one pitch that there was a called strike 3 where Higgy had to go back over the plate, but there was something that was strange about that because Higgy pointed back at Schmidt like it was a good pitch. So I'm wondering if there was a cross up on Higgy's side that the pitch was supposed to be there. I don't know, because if I'm the catcher, I'm not like, hey, pointing good pitch to the pitcher when I'm going to the complete other side of the plate, because if the intended spot of that pitch was supposed to be on the outside of the plate, it ended up on the inside corner of the plate. That's a terrible miss if that's the case. So I don't really know how to feel about that one. But I did think that for the most part, his control was better. And yeah, like just by watching it, you could tell that the knuckle curve was coming out a lot more. He was throwing the curveball a lot more. That's his best pitch. I firmly agree with this. Throw the knuckle curve more. It's your best pitch. You should lean on it more. And he did. And I think that if Aaron Hicks could catch a ball in the outfield, we're seeing 5-6 innings from Schmidt, and I think it's a different story. So yeah, I think it's encouraging from him. It's tough to come out of that and say, these were, and oh, by the way, none of those were charged errors either in Hicks. I guess if you slide at that point immediately, you're no longer considered.
It's the gray area. It's the official scorer can decide like, oh, is that a tough play? I'm not going to charge you with an error.
I mean, yeah, I guess so. But also you could have been there sooner. There's a lot of things.
Honestly, there needs to be, I'm almost feeling like errors, you could just do whatever the catch probability is. Like, Logan, can you look up the catch probability on those 3 things?
Oh, you're saying just make it like a baseline?
Yeah. Like if the catch probability is over X percentage and you don't do it, no matter what, it's an error.
Well, I mean, that is tough considering it's depending
my
on the
guess
speed
is
of
the catch probability on those balls are all over like 70%.
Yeah, they should be pretty high because it's not like he got great jumps on them either. I mean, Florial catches all 3 of those without an issue.
Bader catches them barehanded.
Right. Bader
and
catches
then
them
probably
also.
Pulls a muscle doing so.
Bader catches them in a pool. Okay.
Let's not do this again.
He doesn't even need to get that low. But yeah, if you have some catches by Aaron Hicks in that inning, I think we feel, and it looks a lot different aesthetically, the start. And I do think that he then gets through 5, potentially 6 innings. So yeah, tough spot for him. But personally, I'm encouraged with what I saw. I think.
Yeah,
I think.
What do we got?
I have the expected batting average, which I guess is like the opposite of that. So the first one by Stephen Kwan, an 810 expected batting average.
810?
810. The double by Jose Ramirez was a 290 expected batting average. And then the line out, the one that he caught was 770 expected batting average.
So is the inverse of that the catch probability?
Kind of. I mean, I would say I'm going to continue to look for it. But
so on the 810 one, would the catch probability be 1 or 19%?
If I had to guess, it would be somewhere around there.
Wow, that's not what I thought. I mean, obviously they do this based on like launch angle, exit velocity, and positioning of fielders.
All right, take it back. That's a bad idea. Do not gauge errors off of that.
It's just an eye test, though. Those should be catches.
Those should be catches. Yeah, Florial catches all 3.
Like he was there, right? Exactly. Like Ilya just made the point. Like it's not like he fielded. He just didn't. He was 2 steps away from catching the ball. No. It hit your glove. Okay, like
he went into a slide because it's easier to catch low at that point rather than try to make a shoestring. So that's a choice that you're making at that point to get to a better place to catch that ball, and he just didn't execute the catch. Yeah, it's it.
For my narrative, the second 97% catch.
The second drop, I believe, should be an error. The first drop, if you're like, it was probably a tougher play. I look at from the eyes, but yeah.
Also, the Josh Nailey single, which was the one that caused all the controversy. I didn't say this was a 580 expected batting average. That was the single that that didn't catch.
Those are all higher than I would have expected. Honestly.
It also depends on where the guy was. Where does the center fielder start on that at bat?
I think that's taken into account. Yeah, that's taken into account.
I don't know how you could possibly.
How far the fielder has to range.
The expected batting average is strictly based on exit velocity launch.
Oh, no position fielder, or no fielder positioning.
Technically, so for expected batting average, that would be. It's just saying
that's kind of hard to apply though, because that is just taken all balls ever hit with those statistics, right?
Yeah, that doesn't work.
I don't like that. Yeah.
No, it's not a direct comp.
Anyway, King was great in his 2 innings of work, and Clay Holmes was not great in his single inning of work. He walked 2 and hit a batter, made it extremely nerve-wracking in the 9th inning, but got out of it. This is exactly what happened last year with Holmes when he struggled. His command just is not there.
Yeah, it's concerning when you see that. He's been good up to that.
He was great his last time out.
Yeah, and he did make a good pitch to get out of the inning to close the game out after the bases were loaded. So no harm, no foul, I guess at this point. They did win the game. I'm really, really, really happy that they won that game. I thought the Yankees fought back after some bullshit in the beginning of it. It's like the game of baseball corrected itself in the way it was supposed to happen. So, you know, another series win, and today was a weird day, like you said. But I thought they showed something getting into that. IKF made a fantastic play. Fantastic third base play. Fantastic.
Do you want to talk about the ball he booted?
No. Fantastic play.
You want to talk about his negative 62 OPS plus?
No. He's hitting the ball. He's squaring it up a lot better now. He had a good hard hit ball that went into left field today. So, you know, I'm looking at what I see today.
Hold on. Catch probability is not a publicly available stat. I swear I've seen catch probability on Baseball Savant.
I thought so
before.
too, but when I just did a quick Google search, it said not publicly, like the whole, like for specific plays, it's not available. Like you have to be in with MLB. That's like
how they slipped the rule of like you can't protest games anymore. Like right through in 2021, like all of a sudden it's like nope. Protesting games is strictly prohibited. It's like okay MLB, you don't want to do the paperwork. I got you. So anyway, our guy Franchy Cordero, Scott. Franchy Cordero. He's been drinking his Athletic Greens. That's the only explanation.
He certainly has.
With summer right around the corner, now is a great time to start a new routine to have you feeling good for those summer months, looking good on the beach with your shirt off. There's no better routine that I can recommend than Athletic Greens. AG1 is a daily supplement that's packed with 75 high quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source ingredients, probiotics, and adaptogens that help you start your day right. It supports mental clarity and alertness. It gives you pre and probiotics, so it's good gut health, better sleep quality and recovery, and it boosts your energy. You know what I also realized, Scott, that's like a benefit that they don't even mention?
What'd you realize, Andrew?
Hydration. Like you're drinking water.
Yes,
like that's part of it. Like drinking water is good for you. A lot of people struggle to drink water. I don't. I'm drinking water constantly. But Leanne literally sets reminders on her phone. She's probably going to kill me. She sets reminders on her phone.
Oh yeah, because she listens to the podcast.
It's like people struggle like to remember to drink water, I guess. Anyway, So you're getting like 12 ounces of water right there. Boom, easy. AG1 contains less than 1 gram of sugar, no GMOs, no nasty chemicals or artificial flavoring. It's affordable. Each serving is less than $3. That's a small price to pay, people. You have to try this out. It's so easy. You scoop it in, you shake it up, you drink it every day. There's 7,000 5-star reviews, and athletes and health experts trusted around the world. So you know it's good. Go to athleticgreens.com/pinstripes for a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and those 5 free travel packs, which are also very handy. So I got a question for you. Is Franchy Cordero this year's Rougned Odor? Oh, I didn't even think of Talkman. Is he this year's Rougned Odor, or is he this year's Matt Carpenter?
Can I defer to my first answer of Mike Talkman? It's one of these outfielders that Brian Cashman has made a late play for. I mean, again, man, the say what you want about Brian Cashman, but this dude does strike on no-name guys right before the season starts.
He's great at finding bullpen arms and finding people off the scrap heap.
Yeah. Guys who are about to get cut, or you're looking at, just nondescript guys that they can come in and make a contribution. Yeah. Franchy Cordero has been fantastic. You know, the power is.
That's an understatement, dude. 4 home runs, 11 RBIs, leads the team in only 26 plate appearances. It's insane. 2021 and 22 combined with Boston, he hit 9 home runs in 411 plate appearances. Okay. He's already got 4 home runs in like barely any playing time.
Yeah, he's been awesome. And the Yankees have needed, a guy like him to come in. He's had big production. So those home runs have been, important home runs as well.
Big home runs.
I'm very excited about him. I think a lot of people were scratching their head and were like, "Oh, what are we doing?" Willie Calhoun was just, put in the minor leagues when Cordero. It was a very puzzling move at the time because they were juggling around outfielders and they kept up Florial, for the beginning of the season at that point too. So it was one of those like head scratchers. Like, what do they see here? Because clearly they saw something that nobody else had seen. But yeah, it's working out. It's working out great. And again, really, really is definitely needed, with what's happening. And what it does too is it allows Oswaldo to play into different places. Yeah. He was at second base
shortstop.
Today. Played shortstop.
He started at shortstop. That was the first game that Volpe didn't start on Tuesday.
Yep. And they needed it because IKF, who would normally be that rotation infielder utility guy, is playing third base full time with Donaldson out. And so it allows them to be more flexible in that way. And LeMahieu out today with the quads, which I understand.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that stuff. Sterling's call, you can bet the Franchy on Franchy is, it's great. He didn't have this ready to go for Franchy Cordero's first couple home runs. I think this is a new one. Took him a little time. He needed to marinate a little bit because I think I was listening when Cordero hit his first home run of the season, and Sterling did not say this.
So. I will say this. I don't mind, and who knows if this is by design because it probably is not, but you got to hit a few to get a Sterling call. Like, you
should, that's fair.
You should get it. You should hit a few.
Or you're like a big acquisition.
Right. Or like a Volpe or somebody like that. You should have one ready, but a guy like Franchy Cordero, hit a few and then maybe Sterling will give you one. I appreciate that.
Some fun facts on Franchy Cordero. Tied with Matt Carpenter for most home runs in the first 7 games as a Yankee with 4. Apparently, the leaders are Eric Hinsky back in 2009 and Barry Foote in 1981, the year you were born, Scott. 5.
Wrong. But
when were you born?
I'm not talking about that.
1980?
Oh, yeah, it's a nice clean number.
Yeah, conceived 81. In the 70s.
What a shitty
That's
number.
Right. I always forget that. Conceived in the 70s.
Franchy
Cordero he was a Yankee fan and Alex Rodriguez fan growing up. He's the only player in baseball history with the name Franchy.
Yeah, and the okay, keep going. It was
fun facts. Have fun while I'm saying these. His parents,
they didn't want to name him Frankie, right?
Yeah, so they call him Franchy instead of Frankie.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about that one.
So I mean, it's amazing. As you can tell, we're not exactly buying the Franchy Cordero stock. Like, ride the hot hand while you got it. But if this dude just fizzles out, like, no one's going to be surprised. And this is one of those things, these like random ass hot streaks from these players you don't expect, that if it works out long-term, great. Like, I'm sure we said this exact same thing about Jose Trevino last year in the first half, right? Like, we're probably having the same conversation, and Jose Trevino is the starting catcher and he was an all-star last year. Mm-hmm. Matt Carpenter, I definitely put in a different category because he had a all-star caliber career with St. Louis. Odor was one of those things where it's like, didn't he also Odor hit a bunch of home runs like early with the Yankees? Everyone's like, Odor 30 home run pop kind of thing. So
I don't remember that being a thing. I remember him striking out quite often. He's a great
remember
teammate.
Him striking out.
Great teammate. Yeah, he hit some home runs, but yeah, that not in the same category.
And if we're just looking at like the rest of the outfield, like, Oswaldo Cabrera has had some big hits in the last week, which is great. And I think he's going to continue to be the super utility player, right? Like, I guess outfielder with like super utility player as like the secondary role for Oswaldo Cabrera. Aaron Hicks is clearly the 5th outfielder at this point. And when Harrison Bader comes back, he'll be the 6th outfielder. Or they'll have a decision to make. And does Franchy Cordero still stay on this roster? Because that's going to be tough, right? It's like,
how is that a conversation?
I mean, if Franchy Cordero is 0 for 17 in his next 17 at bats, like, they're not going to keep him over Aaron Hicks, even though he has, the home runs right now.
Yeah.
But if he's still hitting well, and Harrison Bader, like, because Harrison Bader's playing in rehab games coming up this week, right?
Let's go, Harrison. Hurry up.
So what are we? Are we 10 to 15 days away from Harrison Bader with the team?
He probably doesn't even need that much time. Maybe they'll slow roll him, but because this is a decision that they probably do not want to make. But yeah, he's not that far away. 2 weeks tops. If he's playing in rehab games, assuming everything goes well, 2 weeks tops.
Okay, so let's call it. I'm gonna pull up because you know how they like to do this Don't they usually like to
Bader
do it
play?
where-
How many did he play? How much spring training did he get in at all?
So the Yankees got a 4-game. They have
I'm
a
trying to remember when
homestand
that
coming
exactly
up.
happened. The injury, did it happen? It happened into spring training, so he had definitely played some. But how much like this rehab is this? Does he need a full spring training? Does he need that? That's
So they've got a pretty good stretch of home games coming up against the Twins, Angels, and Blue Jays, which ends on the 23rd of April before they go on the road to Minnesota and Texas. Do you think that, Bader only got 6 games of spring training.
okay. I mean, 2 weeks though, I think you're good.
2 weeks.
If he's playing 2 weeks,
You can
for
get
sure.
you can get 10 games plus some DH time
You're good.
and at bats. Yeah. So 2 weeks time, we're looking at late in that homestand. So April 21st weekend, best case scenario. So that's another, week of games. If Franchy Cordero is still playing well and Aaron Hicks is still being Aaron Hicks, not catching 100% probability balls in center field, what do they do? Phantom IL for Aaron Hicks? Like, what's the situation?
This is the inevitable decision that's going to have to be made, whether it's right now or later in the season. I mean, I don't know who in their right mind sees Aaron Hicks turning this around to be a productive player. He hasn't been that for quite some time. So
right,
they're either letting him go now and cutting their losses, or letting them go in 2 months and cutting their losses. Why not do it now? Make the decision. Make the tough decision. It's not really a tough decision. The only reason it's a tough decision is because of finances. It's a fiscal decision at this point, which makes no sense because the fiscal decision is now hurting your on the field, which then also hurts your fiscal decision. So get rid of him.
My guess is they'll do the Phantom IL because that kicks the can down the road and it gives you some insurance if someone else goes down with an injury. Because, did we expect DJ LeMahieu to be day-to-day with a quad issue this week? Did we expect Gleyber Torres to be day-to-day with a hip flexor groin issue this week? No. It's like these things just constantly are popping up.
But again, the thing is with Aaron Hicks, we're talking about what his contributions and what his value is to this team.
Of course, I know that.
And when I'm looking when I'm looking around, I'm not seeing anything. So even if those guys go down, maybe I don't want Aaron Hicks there anyway. Maybe I want someone else. Maybe I want Esteban Florial that every single team passed on and didn't sign and he cleared waivers over Aaron Hicks. Maybe I want, anybody else that's on the AAA roster to come up and have the semblance of a shot and a little fire in their ass to get this instead of a guy who expects to play every day and then cries about it.
The unfair thing for Franchy Cordero is it's like he almost has to maintain this level of production for the Yankees to keep him on the roster when Bader comes back over someone like Hicks. And that's completely unfair. Logan.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Would you prefer Aaron Hicks or Willie Calhoun?
That's a coin flip.
But I'm saying that's what it is. So it doesn't mean anything. That's my point. It means it doesn't mean him.
There's no impact, positive or negative. Well, there's no positive impact that really either of those two guys are providing.
But that's the thing. Like you're saying that you kick the can down the road to a Phantom IL. But again, what does that do? It does nothing because even if he were healthy and even if someone were to go down, he's not the guy that you would want to replace them anyway. So I think at some point he very well could be a distraction with the sentiment and all the things that are going on. At some point, you could look at it as that too. So I don't see how he has a place on this team. To be honest, he's not an everyday player and he's not a backup player. What is he? He's a DFA.
Just some clarification more on the umpire stuff. So the umpires initially went to the Yankees dugout to explain that the call on the field, which was that Quan scored, tagging from third base before the double play was completed.
And it was clear he did not score.
Umps then convened and decided that one would not score, but the catch was good. But because they convened, they were able to challenge. I assume that the convening on the mound was why the scoreboard operator put up that the play was under review, because they were convening. They were not convening over the catch, but because they were convening, apparently that prolongs because it's the middle of the inning. It's not like another pitch is going to be thrown.
Right.
So then still, how do they get to the point that they're challenging
because
that particular
they were
play?
standing in the middle. They were
Yeah.
standing in the middle of the field, and then Francona looks at the scoreboard and hears the stadium, and is like, "Oh well, I guess maybe I should challenge this."
Oh, so it did come from Francona at the end.
Yeah, he challenged the call because at the end of the challenge, when they said Cleveland keeps their challenge,
Because I didn't think that you could Because the umpires have the ability to just overturn a call without
No, but
either
that's what the
manager
Yes
requesting a
broadcast
challenge?
team was
Yes.
talking about. They
They
were
do.
saying that the umpires were the ones that did it rather than Francona. So that's
right.
what
The
I was.
umpires can initiate a challenge, but the way I mean, when I heard the umpires at the end, they said, catch is not good. The runners are placed here and here. Cleveland retains their challenge. So to me, I was like, all right, well, they clearly challenged the call.
Right. Yeah, it's a weird situation. The call was right, so can only complain about it so much. A couple, some other notes from the series. The loss on Monday, Yankees walked 9 hitters. Herman looked terrible. 5 walks in 3 innings, didn't strike out anybody. Colton Brewer briefly saved the game in those middle innings. Ian Hamilton, then his Shambino ended up, giving it up, sac fly in the 7th.
Change up.
The Yankees just wasted so many opportunities, whatever the fuck the pitch is called. The Yankees just wasted so many opportunities. The big one was the Glaber leadoff triple in the 8th inning with Judge, Rizzo, and Stanton coming up, and Karenchik gets him pop out, strikeout. That's the game right there.
Yeah, he was fired up. Karenchik's the guy that did the whole wild thing.
Yep.
Right.
And Gio hit the grand slam off of him in whatever year that was, 2020.
Yeah,
I guess.
Oh yeah, that was one of the best baseball moments actually, because he looked like such an ass after all that.
That was like the only good baseball moment of 2020 was Gio's grand slam off of freaking Karenchik.
Yeah. That's like this is totally gonna date me, but it's a timeless movie. The Indiana Jones, when the guy is wielding the sword and he pulls out the gun and just shoots him. It's like that, But yeah, no, they had opportunities for sure.
They had opportunities off Bieber too, because Bieber didn't look good early in that game, and they threatened in the first 3 innings, and they only scored 2 runs, and then that was it. Bieber shut him down after that. Which fine, you get shut down by Bieber. Like Bieber's gonna settle into a game, right? Like I get it, but you walk 9 hitters as a pitching staff, awful, and then you waste an opportunity with a guy on third base and the heart of your lineup coming up, and you can't hit a sac fly.
Right. Yeah. The whole cliche is you get to the good pitchers early because you're not going to get to them again. That's exactly what happened with Bieber. He ended up pitching, 7 strong. Was it 7 innings that he went, I think. And
yeah, he went 7.
He was strong after the,
shut him down after the 3rd inning.
Yeah.
Just completely shut them down. And
that's something that you have to almost expect from a guy like that. If you get to him, that's very, very possible once he settles into a game. So, it's not like the Yankees were in control of that game necessarily. Like you feel good about getting early runs off Bieber, but when you're walking guys like Herman was doing, you're shooting yourself in the foot at that point. So it was not a game that they honestly deserve to win at that point. And you're right. You don't score a guy from third base with the heart of your lineup. It's just one of those games that gets away, but they ended up doing well. And another thing, or do you want to go to Tuesday's game? Because we got some more Garrett Cole positive things.
We got some Garrett Cole stuff. Before that, though, I know you don't live in Jersey anymore, but it's going to be 80 degrees here this week. I got my air conditioning on right now. Okay. Yeah. It's only April. Air conditioning on. All of a sudden, it's hot out. When it's hot, for whatever reason, I'm like, I need sunglasses now. I know that's doesn't make any sense. It can be sunny in the winter. It could be sunny in the winter. I just usually don't wear my sunglasses in the winter.
You should actually wear sunglasses when you're skiing too.
Well, I wear goggles.
The glare.
Goggles. So yeah, that's anyway. If you're going to go get a new pair of sunglasses, there is absolutely no better pair to buy and wear than Shady Rays. Shady Rays is a sunglasses company that is world-class, just as good as any expensive pair you can find. Something that Shady Rays offers that those big expensive brands don't is the guarantee if you lose or break them, that they'll just send you a new pair, no questions asked. Listen, that's not, you got to be a very trustworthy company in order to do that. That builds a lot of customer loyalty. And so, that's huge when you're buying from Shady Rays. Their frames are durable, which is important if you're going to be doing outside activities. I also like that, how some sunglasses, very easy, or glasses, you open and close them, and then that sort of tension goes. And then if you want to fold them on your shirt and you bend over, they're just going to fall out of your shirt. Yeah. No. These, they so far for me, they've stayed really firm and they stay on my shirt. And I know even if they do fall out, and guess what? They're going to send me a new pair. It's amazing. Shady Rays is giving their best deal to our listeners. Go to shadyrays.com. Use promo code Bronx for 50% off 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses. Again, code Bronx for 50% off at shadyrays.com.
Some fantastic snow goggles as well.
Garrett Cole. settled into that game on
Yes, he
Tuesday.
did.
Did not look good after the first inning. He started that game. What was it? It was like single, double sack fly or something to start the game. So I was comparing his first 3 starts of this year versus last year. And I don't think we realize how bad his first 3 starts were last year. Those 3 starts last year, 11 in a third innings, 9 hits, 8 runs, 7 walks, 3 home runs allowed. The 3 starts are like 3 of the starts we always go back to from last year as being the worst. And they all happened to start the season. The Billy Crystal debacle against Boston, the Vlad Jr. game where Vlad took him deep twice, and then the game in Detroit where he walked 5 in an inning and 2/3. That all happened in Garrett Cole's first 3 starts last year. This year, he's been complete opposite of that. 19 in a third innings, 11 hits allowed, only 3 earned runs, 7 walks, 0 home runs. 0 long balls so far in 3 starts.
What's interesting is when you look at the numbers, the stat line themselves, the ones that we got in the notes here, that's actually the only difference is the home runs. Because when you look
the
at
innings pitched as well.
the innings pitched, well, because of the home runs. But when you look at, he's still giving up a good amount of hits, still walking guys, 7 walks.
The walks are concerning. 3.3
Yes.
walks per 9 innings so far. Like that
still
is the
giving
one
up a lot
thing.
of hits, giving up a lot of hits as well. They're just not going out of the park. So,
Fine.
I understand this, but I just want to make a point where he's limiting the damage that's done. So yes, he's giving up some hits and he's striking out a lot of guys still, but he's not giving up that big home run. Whereas last year that was killing him. And this year, he's still guys are still getting on base. They're striking out a lot. But they're not, he's limiting the damage of the big, 3-run home run or grand slam or whatever it is that completely takes him out of a game. And that's a huge deal. If you keep the ball in the ballpark, you can get away with pitching to contact a little more and getting, allowing some base hits. It's not a big deal.
Well, I wonder if there's been any non-shift hits off of him. I can't. None of them can stick out in my mind. But it's like 11 hits in 19 and a third innings. That's that's still far less than a hit per inning. But like he's not getting hit hard. It's the walks. Like 3.3 walks per 9 innings is concerning, especially because he could still be prone to home runs. So if he gives up a home run and there's first and third because he walked a guy and gave up a hit or something like that, then that's a completely different story.
Well, also when you're walking a lot of guys, that means you're missing your location most likely. And if you're missing your location, a lot of times you very well could leave the ball over the heart of the plate. But what this is telling me, and not to say that this is an exact takeaway from this stat line, but last year when he's missing balls over the plate, walking guys, this year he's missing off the plate, missing off the plate, and the walks are there. Home runs are not there. So, you can miss, you can have a good miss and be fine with that. You can have a very bad miss and pay for it. And that's exactly what happened last year. He was paying for his bad misses because he's leaving balls over the plate. And we're just not seeing that same thing, which is a great thing. When you have a power pitcher, you want him to attack the strike zone. You want him to put his best stuff out there and let the guys, take their shot at it. And that's when hits will come. But if you're missing over the plate when you're trying to be cute, that's when bad things happen. And he's just not doing that so far. So it's a good cleanup.
Yeah. And he's been the rock in the rotation that they've needed right now as we're trying to get guys back and healthy. And you've got Domingo Germán going out there, giving up 5 walks, and you've got Schmidt trying to figure his stuff out. Like Cole's been rock solid. That's exactly what they've needed. Joins Whitey Ford in 1956 and Waite Hoyt in 1922 is the only Yankee starters in history to have 3 wins, a sub 1.5 ERA, and 20 plus strikeouts in the first 3 starts. You know what's funny? There's a guy named Whitey Ford, and that's not even the whitest name on that list. Waite Hoyt is got to be the whitest name of all time.
1922 and 1956.
Yeah, it's been a while. Garrett Cole, 2023.
He feels there's been a lot of injuries in the rotation, obviously. So, I don't know how much of this is Garrett Cole understanding that is a fact and that there are guys that the Yankees cannot rely on in the rotation, and he's got to, pitch to that higher level and make sure that he's shouldering the load here. But whether or maybe it's just a haircut, who knows? But
I think so.
He's doing it, and that gives me a lot of confidence, and that confidence level as a fan is appreciated. I appreciate it because that's what I want from my number one. I want to feel confident. I want to think that when he's getting the ball on a given day, that we have a very good opportunity to win every single time. And he's instilling that confidence right now.
Two more things I wanted to touch on from the series. Number one, we saw a very rare Aaron Judge, just bad base running play on Tuesday's game when he reached base on an error by Ramirez and then got thrown out trying to tag to second base on that ball to center field where he hesitated. That was just like a bad base running play, like didn't have the right instinct there. Very rare from Judge. And then also, what did you think today of Volpe leading off after, getting he didn't get benched, but the day off, the day before, he had been going through, he had played every game, started every game, maybe struggling a little bit at the plate, then bring him back, lead off on the getaway day.
Yeah. I mean, I like it. We talked about him in the leadoff spot where, at some point it could make a lot of sense if he's there. Like he does fit the mold of a prototypical leadoff guy. And I think that because of the increase of activity on the base path, you're now looking at those prototypical leadoff guys a little differently than you have in the last 5 years. So, and it does force him into a different position as well. And with the names that they were trotting out there in the outfield, he doesn't really belong at the bottom of the lineup anymore. You could see him up there. So I thought it was good. Started it off well. I could see him long-term. I could definitely see him in that spot.
Yeah. You obviously want DJ there, but with him out, I wonder if they're going to stick with Volpe there while DJ is day to day. Like, how long do we expect DJ to be out? Like, you're a guy experiencing quad issues.
I am a guy. Yeah. Oh yeah. Big time. And so
you pulled a Tanaka. We did not talk about this on the show. I don't think you pulled a Tanaka.
No, we did. We talked about it. I pulled a Tanaka. Did we not talk about it?
Guys, do you remember us talking about Scott pulling a Tanaka in softball?
2 quads. Okay, let's talk about it. So
he pulled both quad muscles running the bases in softball.
On like the third step out of the box.
Remember when Tanaka pulled both hamstrings trying to tag up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It felt like a sniper, just bam, bam. I'm like, I couldn't move. It was bad. And then I continued to play the rest of the game and I paid for it. And it's we're 4 weeks later now, 4 weeks later. And it's still there. It doesn't feel like it's there until you start running and you get that full stride. And as soon as my leg goes all the way back behind, it's like when you kick your heels to your butt and you get that full extension of your quad, that's when you really start to feel it. And it comes back with a vengeance too. And it really does limit you. Holy shit. It limits what you can do. So I really hope that he doesn't have a bad series,
right? They could have him out for the weekend, just give him the day. But then you're riding a man down at that point, put him on the 10-day IL.
You might, I don't know. Well, they'll definitely retroactive something if they think it's lingering, but they're also going to probably, I think in a few days you can tell if it's still there, if it's lingering, and then they would be able to retroactively put him on. But it's a soft tissue, it's a Y tissue injury, and those can either go away quickly or they can linger and be a pain in the ass, and just affect your mobility and running straight line. That's where I still feel it. Like horizontally, you don't feel it as much, but when you're running forward, you can definitely feel it.
So the Yankees got the Twins coming into town for a 4-game series. They're off to a good start. They're in first place. Pitching is lining up for Brito on Thursday for the Yankees, Cortez on Friday, Herman on Saturday, and then Garrett Cole back on Sunday. The Yankees are going to be missing your guy, Sonny Gray. He's off to a good start so far, 2 games, 0.75 ERA.
Yep.
Lopez has been really good, 1.35 ERA, 26 strikeouts.
That one's frustrating. Yes.
He's going to be pitching. Pablo Lopez is against Cole on Sunday. That's a solid pitching matchup.
That is a very good pitching matchup.
Going to see John Ryan on Thursday, Tyler Mahle on Friday, Kenta Maeda on Saturday. Some good pitching for this week. So they're not going to see Joey Gallo. Joey Gallo is on the IL, so the Yankees will not see him this series. I was like, oh, how's Joey Gallo doing? And I went to his baseball reference page and my jaw dropped. The man is hitting 278, which for any normal baseball player is like hitting 500. 278. I never thought I would see a 2 in front, and I never thought I'd see a high 2 for Joey Gallo's batting average with 3 home runs in 7 games So small sample size, but 278 for the man Gallo.
Is this a shift thing?
I don't
know. Do we think that or is he actually like tried? Maybe he said, you know what? Maybe I should try to change my swing. Maybe I should try to.
Maybe I'm going to be out of baseball if I don't make some adjustments.
Yeah. So for him, if he does that, then good for him. I wish him well at this point. Not really, but it's fine. Just he's not going to be playing. But yeah, that's an impressive number. 278 batting average. Joey Gallo. Good for him. I'm sad we're not going to see him though, because that would have been a nice little reunion.
Maybe he'll still get booed from the injured list. Who knows?
But yeah, that's again, like I've said in the past, the Minnesota Twins, there's something coming. There's something coming still. I'm still waiting for it.
You're waiting for the other shoe to drop.
I'm waiting for the vengeance tour for the Minnesota Twins.
The Yankees have lost like 11 games in the last 20 years against the Twins.
Yeah. Right.
You're nervous.
At some point, it's going to flip.
You believe in do.
I do. And it happened with the Orioles. And at some point, it's going to happen with the Twins. And I don't want to see it in my lifetime.
So a couple of some injury updates. Sevy threw a bullpen session and it was positive. He threw 22 pitches. His next step is going to be facing live hitters, which can only be categorized as wet throws. Carlos Rodon threw a bullpen session. Did that happen today on Wednesday? Do we have reports on how that bullpen session went?
Yeah, a little tight back, and then and then he threw right afterwards. So there was some reports of like tight back, going to be maybe something, and then all of a sudden he was thrown again. So much ado about nothing, I guess.
Okay. And then we already mentioned Glaber and DJ.
I just rewatched. I was watching some stuff, and I stumbled across the spring training clip from when Rodon came out there of us talking about him.
You questioned his mental fortitude after throwing 11 pitches.
Who knew that I was right on that one immediately? That was something was buzzing my ear about that one.
This is not mental fortitude. This is physical fortitude.
No, the reason why the physical fortitude failed was because of the mental fortitude. Okay, it was because of the mental toughness.
He's just mentally weak.
Yes, because he was throwing too goddamn hard when he didn't have to. He was trying to be a tough guy, and that's what happened.
Well, bit. We're in for a long.
You got snake bit.
7 years? Is it 7 years they're in for? 6 years? However freaking long that contract is.
You know what? He learned his lesson. Okay, he learned his lesson. We're gonna be fine. It's gonna be good. I can't wait for him to be back.
So I want to do a quick segment called, I'm calling it "Do You Remember When?" And it's about Tino Martinez because he's having a bobblehead night on Friday.
Nice little bobblehead. Follow through of the bat. Looks good.
Oh yeah, Tino. Love Tino. Do you remember when Tino returned to the Yankees in 2005? And from May 7th through the 15th, which is 8 games, he hit 8 home runs, 11 for 31 with 19 RBIs.
Yeah, what a stretch.
It was amazing. This is when the Yankees were just like, I think Giambi was dealing with so many problems from steroids. So he's dealing with injury problems. Nick Johnson was like the prospect people were thinking of.
Yeah,
people were like, everyone's excited for Nick Johnson. I think they
was the next Don Mattingly. He was a Gold Glove first baseman, looked like Babe Ruth, hit like.
They had Andy Phillips playing first base. I think Doug Minkiewicz was in there somewhere. It was just a collection of random ass people at first base. And for a brief stretch in May, Tino Martinez was Babe Ruth, and it was awesome. I love Tino. He returned after playing in St. Louis for 2 years in Tampa in 2004. So I was also looking at Tino in 2001, his last year with the Yankees, hit 280 with an 830 OPS and 34 home runs with 113 RBIs, finished 12th in MVP voting. Good year, right?
Good year. Yeah.
Good year. And the Yankees were like, nah, we don't want you. We're moving on. Like, I understand Giambi was otherworldly at that time, but Tino wasn't bad. Like, so I don't know. That's a second guess, I guess.
I mean, they've done that. They did it with Clemens and Wells. They've done it a number of times where they're looking at, trying to capitalize on the grass is greener guy. But Giambi was a good player. Steroids.
Well, yeah.
Speaking of
steroids, Evan Gaddis just had himself a day on Twitter, talking about the cheating scandal again.
Did we just notice this, or is he always like that?
I've never even heard Evan Gaddis's name on Twitter. Like, I didn't know he was like I don't know. Did he just get drunk one night and just start going on Twitter rampage?
Yeah.
obviously admitted to the trash can bangs and benefiting from it. Did mention that he hit his home run in Game 7 off CC with the use of a trash can bang.
And Newton, yes, which just
little extra dagger.
Just thanks, appreciate
and then
that.
randomly, he's just like, "Oh yeah, I was on PEDs as well." Okay, great, good job, MLB, catching all those PED guys. He did say what he also said was he didn't know if buzzers were being used. He didn't say yes or no. He said, I don't know if buzzers were being used. If they were,
it's one of those things where we're like, when Canseco started telling the truth, we're like, oh yeah, I believe him because, you know, he's so full of shit. He's always been full of shit. But then when he started like, yeah, the PED stuff, like, oh yeah, now I believe him because it's convenient.
I mean,
is that one of these moments?
I believe Evan Gattis was on steroids. Look at him.
Sure.
I believe Evan Gattis benefited from the trash can ban.
Yes.
Okay. And I believe he didn't know about the buzzers because I feel like he would have said if they were using buzzers at this point.
Yeah, that is true. If it was well known that if he knew about it with the truth serum that he's taken over the last week or so, then yeah. But no, you know what? I don't like that. I don't like that. It made me feel, my stomach was in knots. I was annoyed again thinking back to that point because, man, you know, they really did rob that team. That team was going to win the World Series. They were going to win the World Series.
I mean, the Dodgers were freaking good.
Nah, they were there. They were there, and it was it's such a goddamn shame because when you see what could have been from that new core if they had gone and finished that year as champions, we could be looking at a very different time period of the last 5 years. And how
we said this, I've said this a million times. I don't think they could justifiably move on from Joe Girardi if that team went to the World Series.
Oh God, no, you can't.
Now, I'm not even saying winning the World Series. If you go to the World Series, I mean, they were the closest you could get to going to the World Series, but I think it would have been really hard sell to Hal to say we need to change our manager when we were just in the World Series and we were expected to maybe compete for a playoff spot this year.
Yeah, I mean, it was a tough sell in the beginning anyway, just of what happened, them losing where they did. It was still a pretty tough sell, especially after you know, how they fought back in Cleveland, but they still did it. So, you know, who's to say that they wouldn't have done it at that point as well, just because it felt like their mind was made up.
That would have been crazy though. All right. Yeah. That's it. That's all we got to say. Anything else you want?
Minnesota. Let's go. Beat some another series win. That's what's on the horizon, right? That's
well, now they got a 4-game series, so you got to win 3 out of 4. It's going to mess up the whole 108 win pace.
Yeah, well, for good purposes, right? No, you mentioned those some good pitching matches. So seeing Brito again, I'm interested to see how he does another rotation turn through. So it'll be good, fun to watch baseball. Next time we talk will be a day before Bevan is running the marathon. I'm heading up to Boston on Friday, so I'm gonna take some stuff with me, and we'll talk when I'm up there. And she's leading up to running 26 freaking miles, which is crazy.
We will definitely talk about that on next episode. Talk to you guys Monday.